Was shot and killed by a white police officer while she was inside her own home. This incident marks the 9th police-involved shooting in Fort Worth just this year alone. CNN's Polo Sandoval is following the story. So, Polo, what happened here?
Fred, police in Fort Worth released police body camera video almost not long after the shooting actually happened. The department said that is hoping to provide both transparent and relevant information as this investigation runs its course. But you hear from those that are essentially advocating here for the family of the woman who died. They're saying that is not enough. They want accountability and eventually even an indictment of the police officer.
We went from a welfare check to a woman being killed by the cops.
Outrage is building over the actions of a Fort Worth, Texas police officer. Saturday morning, just before 2:30 a.m., police were called to the home of 28-year-old Atatiana Jefferson after neighbors noticed her front door was open. Heavily edited body camera video released by Fort Worth police picks up what happens next. After police peer through the front door, they walk the perimeter of the property when suddenly, police say, an officer spots someone standing near a window. Put your hands up! Show me your hands! The medical examiner identified the woman who the officer shot as Jefferson. She died at the scene. James Smith says he's the concerned caller who first alerted police.
I feel guilty because had I not called the Fort Worth Police Department, my neighbor would still be alive today.
In a statement, Fort Worth police said their officer drew his weapon and fired the single shot after, quote, perceiving a threat. In addition to the body camera footage, investigators released this still photo showing a firearm inside the house. CNN legal analyst and criminal defense attorney Joey Jackson cautions not to jump to any conclusions.
You're going to release the fact that she has a gun in the home as perhaps what? To suggest she had a gun and that we were perhaps fearful for our life? There's no indication where that gun was. There's no indication she had that gun. There's no indication that she should not have had the gun.
CNN has requested the unedited body camera footage. A police spokesperson said nothing additional will be released at this time and that the department, quote, shares the deep concerns of the public and is committed to completing an extremely thorough investigation. Police have not named the officer who joined the department in April of last year. In addition to requesting the unedited body camera video, we have also put in a request for the incident report and dispatch recordings where we could potentially hear the initial call for service that prompted this to begin with late Friday or early Saturday morning. We should note that the police officer involved here, Fred, he has been placed on administrative leave pending the outcome of the investigation. We also reached out to the Fort Worth Police Officers Union for comment, and they have not immediately responded at this point.
So troubling. Was she at home by herself?
At this point, we do have various reports that there was possibly a child inside. We also have early indication that she possibly lived with mom, but was seeking some medical treatment at a hospital at the time. So at this point, we do, according to what we're hearing, and again, the story's still in its preliminary stages, there was potentially somebody else inside. The authorities have not really elaborated at this point.
Polo Sandoval, thank you so much.
An overseer was someone who is born free, who has all the advantages and the privileges of whiteness, and yet probably not very wealthy. And so many of these overseers were people who come from very poor, impoverished families. Because it is a system of enslavement, it requires whoever the overseer is to be perpetually living in a world of violence, always ready to punish with violence, because that's how slavery works. It's forced labor. Constantly being violent all the time would lead to alcoholism, which is evident in many of the people who served as overseers at Monticello and other plantations. And you have to wonder if, after a while, it didn't just break them down. The person that Jefferson values most as an overseer was a white man named Gabriel Lilly. We have many indications of Lilly's behavior at Monticello, as he was a violent man. There's one story in particular where he beats a young enslaved man who's so ill that he could not rise from bed, and Lilly beats him about the head to force him to work. That results in the young man running away from Monticello. People come to Monticello and they really want to know, was Thomas Jefferson a good slave owner? And it is a very difficult conversation to explain that though the question comes from a place of really wanting to understand, it's impossible to be a good slave owner.
Yeah, I want you to be like me and be sucker free. Most of us are in denial. that we are born suckers. We keep falling for the same trickery. In my next video, I'm going to try to talk about pimping, hoeing, and trickery. See, we're in a war, and most of us don't know it. But you got all these guys, these suckers on YouTube, thinking that somehow they're ahead of the game. See, we all behind the 8 ball because we're not in unity. And democracy means the majority rule. And the majority of black people love the Caucasian to the point where they're licking his boots. They lick the man's boots on a daily basis. I want to tell you how this social engineering, how it works without going into a long drawn out discussion. But the pyramids is a sign see, the Caucasian to this day don't know how the pyramids got built. But it's some elders among us, among the Aboriginal Asiatic black man. You know, a lot of brothers want to say Africa, you know, well, whatever. But you see that it don't matter if you're light-skinned, dark-skinned, Christian, African, black African, or black man living in America. They shooting us and killing us. The police is the overseer, the new overseer. He always got us at a checkpoint. He always checking us, keeping us in check, making sure mentally we don't go off the plantation. We always thinking plantation. And all them brothers that be clocking them dollars, brothers and sisters who clocking them dollars, you don't realize that you're at the bottom of the pyramid, but you're building. The more money you make, the more that you push the Caucasian up the ladder. Them dollars got that white face on it telling you that even though you hear brothers say it ain't about color, it ain't about black or white, it's about that green, but on that front of that dollar bill, on all the dollar bills, you got that white face. So another sister's dead in Texas. And we're going to tell you about that in a minute, about Texas. We just want to make sure that ain't too much you can do about the position that you're in, because most of our people don't even really understand the position that they're in. And since they're not in unity, ain't nothing you can do too much but go along with the program. Only thing we can do is try to wake each other up verbally, because they waiting on us to get violent so they could enable the King Alfred plan. They thought it was going to erupt with neighborhood Nipsey Hussle. You know, they're trying to push them buttons. So we got to do something, or they're going to pick us off one at a time. We got to circle our wagons, keep our powder dry. This is Black Light.